XR are like the bad boyfriend of my life. So they do something like say, we're not socialists. They go out and they do the plastic bag dance and I go, it's over. I'm done with you. I'm walking away. And then they do a really decent action like this where they've successfully identified a logistical bottleneck. They do something quite sick, clear messaging. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. And I go crawling back. So this action is really effective. It's really effective because I think, as George Monbiot has said, one of the single biggest barriers to effective action on climate change is the media. And that's because the media, we don't have a free press. I agree. A free press is vital to the functioning of a democracy. So I think it would be a very good idea if we had one. So these sort of hollow appeals to the freedom of the press, which are completely detached from any critique of who owns the press, are so galling to me to read. And you look at the particular role of Rupert Murdoch in stymieing action on climate change. It's been particularly bad in the United States and particularly bad in Australia. When earlier this year, I mean, it feels like centuries ago, half of Australia was literally on fire. You had the Murdoch machine rolling out these quite conspiracist explanations for what was going on, blaming green activists for placing, limitations on brush clearing and so on and so forth. Rupert Murdoch is the media wing of the fossil fuel industry. And so I think it's entirely legitimate to interrupt the functioning of his business. I think it's not just symbolically important. I think it's practically important. And what I find hilarious about the sort of, menagerie of journalists who emerge from the centre left all the way to the right to say, ooh, an assault on the free press is never a good look. So this is what industry solidarity looks like. Didn't necessarily have it when the printers were on strike at Wapping back in the 80s, but they've discovered it now. Because they know who pays their checks. They know who's responsible for paying their mortgage and keeping a roof over their head. They fundamentally don't want to challenge media ownership or how it works. Because one, it would mean that they would have to recognize that even when they're trying to hold someone like Rupert Murdoch to account, they are just another exotic display for the courts. And also that they are part of this machine as well, that they are part of the underreporting of climate change and the delegitimization of any action, any proportionate action, which could be taken to tackle it.